Hello, hello. How are you? This is Miriam Castilla, and I'm very excited to bring you step 2 of the 7-step debt elimination process, which is the best way to pay off credit cards and other personal debts. In fact, it's the way to reduce debts fast and attract more abundance. And we're going to be talking about that quite a bit today. So this is the step 2 video. Now, I am recording these live, but if you're watching it on the replay, then welcome. And I'm just recording them live because I have more fun when I record things live. And if anyone happens to be here live with me, they can ask me questions as we go, but you can ask questions absolutely anytime. That's what the comments are for. So just because these were recorded live doesn't mean you've missed out. I'm just deciding to go with the live vibe on them. Now, if you haven't watched the step 1 video yet, I've linked it in the description below. So do go and watch that before you watch this one, because it'll make a whole lot more sense. The other thing is that I have created a beautiful freedom from debt system for you, which will cover these 7 steps that I'm taking you through and actually support you in implementing these 7 steps so that you can reduce your personal debts fast and attract more abundance in the process. And today we're going to have a little bit of a look at it. Now, as at the time of recording this, it's not available yet because we've had a little technical glitch, but if you're watching the replay, it'll definitely be available, and all you need to do is just scroll through the description and you'll find the link. And if you are watching this before that's become available, then the best thing to do in the meantime is to grab my handy income target calculators, because you're going to need them later on anyway to work out what your income target is so that you can reach your debt targets as quickly as possible. And I've popped that link down in the description in the interim, because when you grab those, it means you'll be on the list to be notified as soon as the Freedom from Debt system is available. But hopefully by the time you're coming across this video, it's all there for you. Now, let's get into it, because these videos are short, sharp, and shiny. Today, we're talking about step 2, which is very simple. It's making the decision of, where do I start? Which debt will I focus on first? Now, this is an important decision because the answer is not always obvious. Now, the system we're going to go through, you may have looked at other systems like the snowball technique and so on. It's quite similar, but the difference we're focusing in on here is that we want to do it in a way that aligns you energetically with money and abundance. That makes you feel really empowered and abundant so that you naturally attract more money into your experience. And that allows you to pay off your debts a whole lot faster. And that is the key reason why the answer is not always obvious. So if you have a whole bunch of debts, say you've got a couple of credit cards and some personal loans and some money you owe your sister, then, strictly speaking, from a finance point of view, people would say to you, okay, start with the one that has the highest interest rate attached to it, because that one's costing you the most money. And that's absolutely true. And generally speaking, that's the correct answer. However, what if that debt is like a really big amount you owe and it's going to take you a really long time to get through it? Yes, more reason to get onto it sooner because it's costing you money in interest. But the flip side that we need to kind of take into consideration is, if you get started on something that's going to take a really long time first, then you're setting yourself up for a situation where you may find you don't have the stamina to finish the job of paying off this first debt in that really focused, considerate way. So sometimes you're better off choosing a smaller debt so that you go for the quick win and you have something to celebrate and you can see that this system is working, and then move on to the other debts. So what I'm going to do, because I have it ready for me as at time of recording, but just not ready for you to access yet, I'm going to share my screen and just show you how you're going to put this together for yourself in the Freedom from Debt system. So the system includes a PDF guide, which quickly takes you through the 7 steps and links you back to these explanatory videos. And there's also a planner included. And the planner is for you to complete your homework from step one, which was about actually collecting all the information. What are my debts and how much do I owe and all of that? And you need to input that into your planner. And then we're moving on to step 2, which is deciding which debt to begin with. And like I said, the answer is not always obvious. So there's an example in here. So I'm going to share my screen so that we can have a look at it. Now, just a moment, I need to actually go to the planner. So this is the planner. And what you'll be doing here is you'll be inputting all that information that you gathered during step 1. So you'll be describing your debts, and it might be, credit card number 1, or you might give it a better description. And I didn't even put it in the right spot. Let's pop it there. So you get to watch my miserable typing skills. That's the fun of going live. So you might have a credit card there on which you owe $3,000 and you have to pay $120 a month on it. Now, just ignore these next couple of columns for now. We're not talking about that just yet. We will get to those eventually, and say that the interest rate on that credit card is, it's a bit of a nasty one. It's 18%. And so you've collected that information. Now, I've actually got an example down below, but I just wanted to show you that just because these boxes have a dark background doesn't mean you can't type in them. That's actually where most of the information will be going. So you've got the description of the debt, the amount owing, the minimum payment due, and the interest rate. And that was your step 1 homework. And then you can make a note for yourself up in here as to whether these are, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly amounts. I'm just going to take that back out and scroll down here. There's a little example for you here, which will be really handy. So I've put a note there saying all these payments are monthly, and we've got the maxed out credit card, the money you owe your sister, the second credit card, and the car loan. So these are all the debts in this example. And then we've got all the amounts owing, the minimum payment due. There's nothing against the one from the sister because she just went, here's $500, pay me back when you can. And no interest due on that one either. But the credit cards and the car loans, they have minimum monthly payments and they have interest attached to them. Now, the other thing that I don't think I actually mentioned in the step 1 video, so this is why it's important to watch all of them, is that how will you celebrate when you've paid that debt off? That's a really important part of this process, and we'll talk about that when we get to that step. But start thinking about it. When that's gone, how will I want to celebrate having achieved that? And so this takes me back to what I was saying earlier, that the order in which you want to do things may not always be, okay, I'm going to start with the highest interest rate first. Maybe your sister's really giving you a hard time about that $500 you owe her, and you just need to get her off your back. Well, then rather than spending the next however many weeks, maybe months, trying to clear this credit card before you can pay her back, maybe you're better off paying off your sister, getting her off your back, and feeling better about the fact that you don't owe her money anymore. And energetically, that is massive. So the correct answer to which debt do I begin with is not always the one with the highest interest rate. Yes, that's mathematically and financially, strictly speaking, correct. But sometimes you just need to have a quick win or clear the one that's really giving you the most stress. Because the problem is that while you're in a state of stress about money, you're going to be attracting more things to be stressed out about. And you're going to be convincing yourself that you're not good with money and that, you're not moving forward and all of these negative things. Whereas by having the quick win, doing something that makes you feel good, then getting to celebrate it, you're showing yourself that you can take control of your finances, you can start clearing your debts, and that the system works. Because if we decided, okay, I'm going to move this around and I'm going to do my sister first. Oops, that's the example, so I can't type in there. But if we said, I've tried to make it foolproof. If we paid the sister first and then the maxed out card next, then, you've only got $500 that you need to clear before you can then move on to the credit card. So really have a think about that. So obviously write them down on a piece of paper first and then put them in here in the order that will help you. And we're going to go one at a time. So you don't need to worry about getting the order of all of them correct. It's really about just being really clear on where do you want that first focus to be, and start having a little think about. There is a specific step where we will talk about this some more, but start really having a think about how do you want to celebrate when you achieve that milestone of clearing that debt, and put that in here as well. So, lovelies, that is step 2, choosing which debt to focus on first. So I hope that has given you some guidelines and a really good idea of the fact that what's mathematically correct is not always the right answer. The right answer is what's best for you, what's going to help you feel the best. You know, going for the quick win and something that then helps you feel a whole lot better about your finances is usually a much better approach than going for something that's going to take a whole lot longer, where you risk maybe not completing the journey. Because what we want most of all is for you to succeed and to achieve freedom from debt. Okay, just a reminder, if you haven't watched the step 1 video yet, you might want to do so. I will also be linking the step 3 video in the description, and of course the link for you to get yourself the entire freedom from debt system. And I will see you in the next video, because it's absolutely time for you to embrace your unlimited potential, and clearing debt is a really good start in that. Bye for now.